Welcome to another edition of A Cody Speaks. Let's talk Black thoughts and reflection on the usual YouTube suspects. Welcome to another edition of Thank you for joining me. Sorry about that technical difficulty. I had several YouTube pages open trying to give my guests, time to get in the studio, but I said I didn't want to pay you all who came into the studio to see updates on Miss Jalyne Jones and her recovery efforts. So, on about 2 weeks ago, I brought to you a story that really touched my heart regarding Miss Jones. She was a victim of a horrible accident, and I don't want to say accident, I should say incident that could have taken her life. One of her neighbors was playing music really, really loud all day, and her husband decided that they were going to go and ask the gentleman to turn his music down. And unfortunately, when they got there, the gentleman decided that he was going to shoot through the door, and one of the bullets struck Mrs. Jones, and she was taken to the hospital, had to go several surgeries, and she's the victim in this whole scenario. She's a survivor, but the assailant, the criminal who fired the shot, only received only received a misdemeanor charge. So we're now what we're saying, supporting a petition to have charges upgraded. Um, Mr. Jones is going to join me in the studio as soon as he clicks the link. I'm going to communicate with him once more via email, so we can go ahead and get them in the studio and able to share the story, share updates on Mrs. Jones's recovery with you all. Hello there, Mr. Jones. Hold on, Mr. Jones, 1 second, as I find out where that noise is coming from. Give me 1 second to cut that noise off. Goodness gracious, the devil is a liar. All right, so we got that turned off. Let me go ahead and yeah, I apologize for that, Mr. Jones. How are you this evening? Can you hear me? Mr. Jones, you got to unmute your mic. Let's see. I can see you, but I can't hear you. We're going to give Mr. Jones a couple of seconds to get his technology together. But like I said, family, this is an update on the recovery progress of Mrs. Jones, and we're going to hear from her husband here just a second. Mr. Jones, can you hear me now? Bear with us, family. Mr. Jones, we're waiting on you. Are you there? Can you hear us? While I'm waiting to confirm that I can hear Mr. Jones, I'll go ahead and share Miss Jalyne Jones's YouTube page. Facebook page. She was working in the field of coding, medical billing, as my understanding, and she had high aspirations to open her own business. And unfortunately, Mr. Alejandro decided that he was going to put a delay to her progress on achieving that. So you know we sometimes take for granted you know the ways in which individuals may perceive you at first glance. We take for granted that we're all going to be treated the same, and we understand now that that's just not the case. um, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So this is the change.org page for Miss Jalyne Evans Jones. She is asking that the district attorney revoke the bond, or the judge revoke bond and upgrade charges for Alejandro Morales. He's the one that did the shooting. And like I said, it's terrible that we have to be here speaking on this today. Um, not I'm absolutely I'm absolutely glad. I'm definitely glad that she survived this, and our prayers are will always be with her um, as she makes recovery. So Mr. Jones sent me a message saying he's trying to get his audio to work. So we'll just be patient with him, but continue to talk on it. Right? Want me to let you all know that they still need your help. Like I said, go over to change.org, justice for Jalyne Evans Jones, revoke bond and upgrade charges for Alejandro Morales. Um, Help them sign a petition. The goal is to get 500 individuals to sign the petition so that they can bring this petition to the district attorney to have charges upgraded. This gentleman fired a gun, and all he received was a misdemeanor charge. I mean, that's like so unjust. The best word I can come up with it for come up for it is it's just absolutely mind-boggling that anyone in a right mind would consider allowing someone to bond out on a misdemeanor charge after using, firing, and hitting, striking, injuring someone with a deadly weapon. It's just unheard of. See if I can get Mr. Jones back in. We have audio now, Mr. Jones. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, so he's giving me hand gestures that, still working on his audio. That's unfortunate. I know you have to give Restream permission to capture your mic setting, or click the three dots and see if you're muted on the actual system here. So, like I was saying, this is the change.org page. Please go to change.org, sign the petition, and then also she has a GoFundMe page. And the GoFundMe is Long Road to Recovery. Support Jalyne Evans Jones. Any amount, will do. So far, we have garnered 116 donations. There's a $25,000 goal. This is something where you can actually do something for someone else who really needs your help. She is recovering, so therefore she's not able to earn a living. So if you donate to her, you're also donating to her family. And you can read the story here as well of what happened that night. It says here she was educated medical billing and coding instructor for the past 15 years. Jalyne's dreams of launching her own business have been put on hold as she fights to heal both physically and emotionally. We, the family and friends of Jalyne, implore your kindness and generosity during this trying time. Every donation, regardless of size, will help alleviate the missed medical bills resulting from her hospitalization, surgeries, and rehabilitation. While Jalyne does have health insurance, the road ahead is marked by financial challenges that we can collectively ease. Your support means more than words can express. As Jalyne faces pain, trauma, and uncertainty, your contribution can make a tangible difference. Let's come together as a community to uplift a woman of strength and grace, reminding her that love and empathy prevail even in the face of a senseless violence. May your heart be touched to give, and may your kindness help Jalyne on her journey to healing. Thank you for being a beacon of hope in her life, and may God bless you abundantly for your compassion and generosity. So, family, please, whatever you can give towards helping Miss Jalyne recover by easing her anxiety of having to pay bills so that she can concentrate on healing her body. Once again, I appreciate you guys listening and tuning in and wanting to be a part to help Miss Jalyne. We have to come together to support causes such as this. This was a family that was struck with tragedy, and we have to be there for them. A simple signing of a petition should not be that grievous. That's all we need is 500 signatures. We have 334 signatures thus far, and I implore you to contribute your signature and then contribute your funds to helping her on her long road to recovery. Unfortunately, our guest for tonight is probably still trying to figure out this audio thing. Um, so I did not want to dwell on the negativity. I was hoping that he could come up and give us some updates on Mrs. Jones's recovery. I did learn that she did have surgery on her hand, and she's recovering from that. And it's, like I said, it's a long road to recovery. The senseless violence and the reckless use of firearms has become an epidemic in this country. And it's unfortunate that our law enforcement system is unjust and passes out unequal punishment for same type crimes. Uh, like I said before, I can't phantom how this prosecuting attorney would think not to press charges in the manner that was commensurate with the crime, which being a felony. Reckless use of a firearm as a misdemeanor is a slap in the face. So I went and I took a look at Gwinnett County, which I believe that's the county in which this incident did occur. It's Lawrenceville, Georgia. So Gwinnett County, I went to their government page to see who's on the district attorney team. Um, and I see the head district attorney is Patsy Austin Gaxon, right? She's a sister, right? So it's interesting. So I want to find out from Mr. Jones who exactly.
Can she hear you? Okay, here you go. You can say
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay, can you see me?
Yes, and I
All
can.
right, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. I had to have my son-in-law go ahead and hook this up for me. So,
That's perfect. That's perfect. Salute to you, sir, and thank you for your efforts in trying to be here with me today.
no problem.
And thank you. You said that was your nephew helped you.
no, that's my my son-in-law. That's my
Okay. Salute to you, son-in-law, for getting us. I appreciate that. Yes, Mr. Jones. So, like I was sharing with the audience, we understand that Mrs. Jones is at home, correct?
That is correct.
And how is she feeling today?
Um, she's not feeling her best. She had her first of several hand surgeries on Friday, um, which the surgery required, I believe, 2 plates and several screws. So she's in some severe pain today, but she's still in good spirits. She continues to thank everyone for the prayers and support that she's receiving. Um, again, I want to thank you and first and foremost for taking this time to interview me for this traumatic event to bring some awareness to what has happened. And hopefully we can get the due justice that is due to my wife from the traumatic injuries that she sustained from this horrible incident.
Right. Yes. And so I understand that you were able to speak to the news media recently, and in hopes that you can bring attention to the upgraded charges that you're seeking. Can you tell the audience about that?
Yes, we started. I started a change.org petition to petition the governor as well as the Gwinnett County DA to upgrade the charges from a misdemeanor reckless conduct to at least minimal aggravated assault. However, I would indeed like to see him charged with 2 counts of attempted murder.
And so, who is the district attorney that brought charges?
It has not, from what I understand from the news report, Mr. Tom Regan with WSB, who has done stories on this incident and continues to try to bring awareness. In his last report stated that the case has not even been brought before the solicitor. So with that being said, I really don't know whose hands it's fallen into at this point right now. I have not heard back from anyone from Gwinnett County Police Department in reference to the case. So, a lack of communication, lack of knowing what is going on as a result of this case. I do know that the shooter has bonded out of jail. I mean, I do know that, and I'm aware of that from crossing paths with him, not from Gwinnett County making me the rest of that information.
Oh, wow. So can you see my screen there?
I can.
Have you been in touch with this young lady in regards to your witness, your victim? I think she needs to be reached out to.
I
I don't
agree.
know.
I have not
Have you?
spoken with her. I
Mhm.
thank you for this information. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a screenshot as we speak, uh, so I can reach out to her.
And have you retained an attorney?
I have.
Okay, and he's not able to find out any details as far as the charges and who brought charges and whatnot.
We haven't spoken about that thus far. I do know that the firm that we have retained has requested a police report, different information from different sources thus far. But as far as them providing me any further details, we haven't spoken in reference to that as of yet.
Roger that. And so I don't want to press you on too many of the legalities
Mhm.
surrounding the incident until until they come back with some solid information. We don't want to speculate, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I do since they have this victim witness director in place. I'm going to take it for granted that she is um, on the side of victims, right, or trying to protect or trying to bring the voices of witnesses to light. So I think that would be not outside of your right to contact her to find out if she could find out, you know, what's up with these charges. Because when I read that it was only a simple misdemeanor and it's $1,000 fine and up to a year in jail, that's you know, have you heard about any upcoming court date where he's gonna be
Um,
charged or anything? Or
um, I apologize. Bear with me one second. I don't know what's going on. Repeat your question. I do apologize for that.
that's okay. So have you had gotten anything from the courts in regards to a court date or anything?
No, nothing from the courts, nothing from Gwinnett County whatsoever.
That's interesting.
The only
That's
thing I
very
know is that it's still supposedly under investigation at this particular time, but the particulars surrounding that, I have not been privy to any information. And that's why it's very important for me to continue to bring awareness to what has happened and to ask people, who stumble across any information pertaining to this to thoroughly read. Don't draw conclusions based off of what may have been reported by the news. Um, but if you have any type of compassion as a human being, I would encourage you to sign a petition so we can move forward as far as seeking upgraded charges.
and you're still living in the same location?
No, I have temporarily relocated from that apartments with no intent on returning. So I'm in the process currently right now of securing a new place of residency.
And right. And so when you said you crossed paths with the assailant, the criminal, I should say,
Hmm.
were you there at the apartment or was this on the
Yes.
public street?
No, it was at
There
the
at the
apartments. Hmm.
Wow. So the apartment complex is not even looking to, I guess, move for eviction on him for
Well,
shots
he
fired with a weapon.
he has since then moved out, which is another thing that's concerning to me because without any information coming from Gwinnett County, not sure where his whereabouts are. I do know that this individual is of the Hispanic descent. I believe he's Venezuelan, if I'm not mistaken. Concern that I have is that he may even try to flee the country and not be criminally charged for the acts.
Wow. So I just sounds like a bunch of negligence going on the part of law enforcement.
It
I'm
does.
yeah, the charges that was levied does not, in my opinion, match the crime committed. I
It
mean,
doesn't. It doesn't.
just
And I strongly believe that. I'm not trying to make this a race issue, but however, I do believe if this would have been the other way around, I definitely would have been charged with a felony versus a misdemeanor, as this gentleman was.
oh, and I definitely agree with you. That was my sentiments when the story was first brought to my news desk. I just couldn't believe what I was reading. One year and $1,000 for almost taking someone's life. And like you said, that
Right.
two individuals standing outside the door, and you fire a shot. That's assault on two individuals, and
Right.
at least assault.
Without opening the door, without acknowledging that someone was even there at the door, we didn't even get an opportunity to ask or even give a reason why we were there knocking on the door in the first place. It could have been a pizza delivery person knocking on the door. It could have been an Uber Eats person delivering a food order at the wrong door by mistaken, and he could have shot through the door. So I don't understand how Gwinnett County has taken a stance to only charge him with the misdemeanor. That's still, which is baffling to me, and that's why it's so important for people to hear about this story, again, to sign the petition, so we can demand that the charges be upgraded. And I also encourage, I understand that we all are going through some difficult times, but if you're able to contribute anything, whether it's $1 to the GoFundMe, because we are having mounting medical bills. And this is indeed a long road to recovery, because again, Jalyne has undergone her first of several hand surgeries. There's more to come, as well as physical therapy. So the goal that has been set was just a baseline minimum. I know that this number is far going to reach numbers far greater than 25,000. Just the ambulance service alone is probably going to be about 35,000, if not more. So I definitely encourage everyone, if in your heart, to contribute $1, 50 cents, whatever, to the GoFundMe. It's greatly appreciated. Um, and that's pretty much all I have to say in reference to that right now.
Now, you mentioned some reports and not listening to what the media has put out there.
Mhm.
I think you're referring to the assailant saying that you had a weapon when you approached the door. What do you want to tell your audience about that incident and exactly what happened regarding the gun, if you want to talk about it?
That as far as the incident is concerned, I don't want to speak in reference to any further details other than what's already been put out there. Simply because I don't want anything to be twisted. I don't want anyone to go back and say, well, he said this when this indeed happened. So the information is out there, available. As far as the news reports, there are a news report from CBS 46 News with Yasmina Alston. There's a news report out with WSB TV with Tom Regan. There's also a YouTube video out on I think it's the Undisputable YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. So please feel free to go listen to the news reports, and get more information that way versus um, any further details from me at this point in reference to what transpired that particular night.
And has Mr. Ritchie reached out to you, Mr. Ritchie of Indisputable, I believe it is? Has he
No,
reached?
he has not. He has not personally reached out to me. No.
But he reported on it.
He himself did not report on it directly. There was another associate that's a part of his programming, I believe. I forgot the young lady's name, who was the reporter who aired the story.
Okay, because I do believe I have him tagged in this video in the
Mhm.
description. So I will be sharing this live with him and asking him to share your information regarding your change.org and also the GoFundMe with their audience, because I'm not quite sure. Did they report on that piece already? The petition and the GoFundMe.
Tom Regan did on his report that he just did. Let me see. I can look at it and tell you what date it was done. It was done on Thursday, August the 24th. He did a follow-up report. The title of the report is "Man Wants Harsher Charges After Wife Shot for Asking Neighbor to Turn Down Music."
I seen that on WSB Radio. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the same affiliation?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let me just pull that up right quick, share that with you all. So this was the radio report of the incident. I think he did a pretty fair job of reporting the facts of what happened. And I do want to thank him for reaching back out to you and his diligence on reporting the story as it is. I know that it's hard, being the husband of someone that was, violated. How are you holding up, sir?
I give all praises to the Most High. He is the one who has given me the strength to carry on, to be there for my wife in her time of need, to be somewhat of a role model to my adult kids and my grandkids, during a very challenging and unexpected turn that has altered not only Jalyne's life, but the life of her family members as well, because we're all having to do things for her where she was previously self-sufficient in doing, and now does not have the capability of doing such things on her own. So it's taking some adjustments. But I just, thank God every day that she's still here with us. And seeing her become stronger each and every day gives me the hope, the courage, the motivation to continue to fight this fight. By no means am I giving up. I am determined to make this national headlines, because this could have happened anywhere. This could have happened to anyone. It's not just about Jalyne. It's about, how are we moving about in life as human beings how has it come to a point where you can't even peacefully go to someone and ask a question, not even get an opportunity to ask the question for that sake, and be shot through the door. So I think, I think that we as individuals need to get back to the humanity aspect of caring and loving one another, not being so hot-headed and angry, and basing things off of emotions or feelings.
I totally agree with you, sir. So just if you will tell us about your home life prior to this incident, and how I know you spoke on how Miss Jones was very much independent, but tell us about your family makeup. I mean, it's rare, unfortunately, that we hear stories about the husband being present, and then there's a whole family makeup. Tell us
Hmm.
about your family life prior to how was things for you all.
Things were, things were okay. Um, of course, things could always be better. Um, my wife and I just recently celebrated 29 years of marriage.
Hallelujah.
Um, we have 3 beautiful adult kids, who are all grown, have kids of their own. So we're fortunate to have 9 grandkids total. My wife has been teaching for the past 15 years as a medical coding billing instructor. Recently had plans on starting her own medical billing course that she was going to offer to people who wanted to become certified and become medical billers, because it is something that she's truly passionate about, and she wanted to be able to help other people, especially um, people of color, to get into a career field that is recession proof,
Yes.
that afford you the opportunity to the lifestyle that you want to, as long as you are a go-getter. You're passionate about what you do, as she is. Um, so a lot of things were on the up and up prior to this incident occurring. This is just a minor roadblock that has, crossed our paths, but we're not allowing it to deter us in any way, or to make us sad or sorry for ourselves or depressed or anything of that nature. It's just going to build us to make us even stronger. Um, so we have that, that attitude now of life is very precious, and the time that we have with our loved ones, our family, our friends, we want to make those precious memories, memorable times, full of laughter, full of joy, no sadness. Um, so I say, other than that, our lifestyle was great as far as I'm concerned. No complaints.
No complaints. And tell us about the neighborhood, your apartment complex. What's the makeup of the apartment complex? Is it mixed or
It's
predominantly?
it's a mixed community. We had been there about 2 years. Our plans were, prior to this incident occurring, was to, once our lease had finished, we were going to purchase our first home. And unfortunately, this has happened. So again, that's kind of thrown a roadblock, temporary roadblock. But you know, um, it's an unfortunate thing that happened. But hey, it's happened, so we have to deal with it at this point. We can't sit there and cry over it.
And that's right. That's right. And so your neighbors, you were acquainted with your neighbors, and what were their reaction to all of this?
Only there's a few families that were there, had been in the community for, I would say, for more than a year. And for those families, we spoke, we waved. We may not have known each other's first names or things of that nature, but we waved. We were very cordial to one another. Um, there were recently, I think, about 4 new families that moved in, including the shooter being one of them, of the 4 new families. And unfortunately, the 4 all seem to be of, well, I take that back. 3 of the 4 all were Hispanic of some nature, whether they were all Venezuelan or what, but I know they were all Hispanic. Um,
So they just recently moved in. That's
mhm,
that's interesting. That's interesting on another level that we won't go into right now.
mhm.
However, was there any incidents like this reported in your complex prior to now that you are aware of since you've been there?
Any conflict such as this,
Yes, where guns are being fired and people are
I,
being injured.
to be honest with you, I don't know. Because even with this particular incident, you would have thought Gwinnett County would have reported what happened to the property management. It took my daughter and I to go and report this incident to them for them to be made abreast.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't know, you know, I won't say it was the best of the best communities. I won't say it was the worst of the communities either. But I have heard, I've heard fireworks, I've heard gunfire. Um, there have been complaints of people rummaging through vehicles. things, typical things that happen pretty much in any apartment complex around the Atlanta surrounding area, or even neighborhoods for that fact. Crime has definitely um, escalated, and it seems like it's on steroids ever since COVID. But that's another story in itself.
But that's happening around the nation. I was just mentioning that these senseless crimes revolving handguns and people misusing firearms has become a pandemic of itself in
Mhm.
America. And if if you could change anything regarding the gun laws, what would it be?
That's a good question because I am a gun owner myself. I do believe that people should have the right to bear arms for purposes of protection, because we have gotten to a world where, you know, unfortunately, the criminals, regardless of what laws they pass, the criminals are always going to find a way to get around it. So I believe in people having the right to defend themselves in the event that someone does try to attack them or cause bodily harm in any way. However, those laws I do believe need to be a little more stricter as far as background checks, of people who are trying to obtain guns, a mental examination. If there's ever anything that's been in question, whether they've been in domestic violence, they've tried to commit suicide, things of that nature, they need to find something to make it tougher for these individuals to, legally obtain guns. Um, Aside from that, I do believe that firearm safety training is absolutely necessary for even those who rightfully have weapons, because so many times you hear of people laying a gun down in their house or something on a table, and a kid picks it up and shoots another kid or shoots themselves and kills themselves. So um, I think gun laws are very important. Um, what is the ultimate answer to it all? I don't know.
What about the law, what was it, reckless use of a firearm labeled as a misdemeanor? What about that law? What should change with that law?
Oh, that's ludicrous. Um, I cannot understand for the love of money how this charge can be considered a misdemeanor. When you fire a bullet from a weapon behind a closed door, first and foremost, whether you're able to see if it's a perpetrator, it's an intruder, or whatever, first and foremost, as a homeowner, if I'm a homeowner, someone was trying to break in my house, if they're peeping through the windows, rightfully, I can't shoot them. I can't do any type of bodily harm to them until they've entered my premises. So to be able to only be charged with the misdemeanor to shoot behind a closed door recklessly, in an apartment community, you could have hit anyone.
And so the
So,
police are aware that he fired the shot and actually struck someone that was taken to the hospital. They are aware of that, right?
oh yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
They showed up on the scene when the ambulance showed up on the scene.
They showed up on the scene, Gwinnett County Police Department, Gwinnett County Fire Department, and from what I understand from my neighbors, even GBI showed up later that evening for the further investigation.
And at that time, that's when the gentleman was arrested when they was doing
Um,
the investigation.
he was actually detained prior to the ambulance even leaving the apartments to transport my wife to the hospital.
Yeah, the stream kind of had an interruption there, but you said that
Mhm.
they detained him prior to your wife being taken in the ambulance too. to the
Yes.
hospital.
Yes, I'm the one who pointed the shooter out to the police because he had exited his apartment and was standing out there like he was a spectator. And I'm like, it's unbelievable. You know,
Yes,
um, there was some other thoughts that crossed my mind, but I mean, hey,
of course we know. We already know. Um, I don't want you to say much more than that. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how the police could not. Well, it's not really the police; it's the person who, the prosecuting attorney that's supposed to be representing the state in this. They're the one that brings charges before the judge.
right, but which doesn't make sense because if it hasn't even reached the solicitor's office, who is, I guess, reports to the DA or brings the charges to the DA for um, who 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 determined what that this was reckless conduct. I'm not understanding who determined that. Was it the detective? I didn't think that they were able to do so. So, you know, how did this happen? This is what the $1 million question that I need to know the answers.
So here's another bit of information from Gwinnett County that you might want to um, take down. This gentleman's information. He's Justice and Community Initiative Senior ADA, Assistant District Attorney, Herbert Adams. This was a clear case of injustice, right? So since he has the title of Justice and Community Initiative Senior Assistant DA, I think he might be able to point you in the right direction or give, it should be definitely brought to his attention, I would say.
Yeah.
So these are just individuals that's in the district attorney's office. They are elected officials and they're using your taxpayer dollars, so they should be able to assist you in whatever it is that you need assistance with.
I agree.
So I know that you have to get back to tending to your wife. On behalf of News, Facts, and Comments, please let her know that we are praying for her and that we've signed the petition, we've donated to the GoFundMe, and that I'm sure my listening audience are caring individuals, and let her know that she will always be in my prayers. And for you, Mr. Jones, thank you so much for being that pillar that she needs in this time. And like you say, I do pray that this does go viral and that you do get justice, because this was just definitely not a characterization of justice in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And like you said, and if we didn't have this skin tone, I think that um, it would have been a different story. I definitely think felony charges would have been charged to
Mhm.
this individual, and it's very concerning that he no longer lives in the complex, and we don't know where he's at.
Right.
And um, I just would hate to think that he was illegal. You know what I mean?
That's
So
that's 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 my concern. Being an illegal, or like I said, even being legal or and fleeing the country. That's my biggest concern. Being let out on such a, a bond that's it's a joke. $4,600 bond was his bond amount. That's ludicrous.
yeah, and who do you happen to know who the judge was? Do
No, because even the police report that I was able to obtain gives very vague information. And when I say vague, very vague information. No details whatsoever, really.
Wow. No, the arresting officers did not give their cards or anything like that to you at the time. I know you probably
Yeah,
wasn't thinking.
it's funny that you
Uh
asked.
huh.
It's funny that you asked that question.
Hmm.
I thought that it was a standard practice that, especially when there's an investigation, that the detective would provide their card that would have their name, badge number, method of contact. I was not provided any of that information at any point in time.
That is very interesting. As if we want to just go ahead and sweep this under the rug, like nobody's gonna care. So Family, everyone that's on my live right now and those that will listen in the future, please share this live, like it, help it go viral. Leave your comments down below. Tell a friend, donate, and sign the petition. Simple. It's not that difficult, right? Any last words, Mr. Jones?
Um, again, I want to thank everyone for all of the prayers and the support. It is definitely appreciated. And it's been what my wife believes has been the driving force behind her um, kind of unbelievable progress, being discharged from the hospital just a week and one day after being shot and struck in multiple places and undergoing the major surgery that she did, as well as undergoing the first of several hand surgeries this past Friday. So unfortunately, she was unable to join today as she thought she would have, but because of the severity of her pain, she declined to do so. So I wanted to definitely make sure that I was here to speak on her behalf as well as on behalf of my family. Again, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to this story. I hope that you will continue to share, repost this information because we truly need this to go viral. Again, this is not about Jalyne or my family. It is about any of us. It could have happened to anyone across the world, um, you know, and this we have to stop the senseless violence that is occurring, that is running rampant around our communities. Um, so again, thank you all for your time, for your prayers, for your consideration and support. And I will end with that. If you haven't signed the Change.org petition, go sign it. If you're able to donate anything, whether it be $1.50 to the GoFundMe, we would greatly appreciate it.
Mr. Eric, I want to thank you once again for having the courage to come on and the tenacity and fortitude to bring this story to the forefront and not let it die, not let it just be brushed underneath the rug. This was an unprovoked, terrible, terrible, horrendous crime, I would say.
Yes.
And I'm just grateful that it did not end worse. But at the same time, we still have to lift our sister up in prayers and let her know that I'm thinking of her. The whole NFNC family is thinking of her and praying for her speedy recovery. And if there's anything that you need, and if you want to come back up here and provide us with more updates, please do. Let's keep in touch. I'll get you up on Instagram, and we'll stay in touch until we'll see this through together.
Yes.
And I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes. Thank you.
Love
Thank
you
you.
with the love of Yahweh. Be strong.
All
Stay
right.
strong.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shalom.
Shalom.
So, family, I thank you for joining me. Like I said, and I mean it, we're going to follow this story all the way to the end. We're still going to say justice for Jalyne Jones. An unprovoked, senseless crime was committed against her. And it's unfortunate that we have to keep reporting these stories. But if we don't report our stories, we'll fall privy to having the mass media report on our stories. And it's always going to somehow be skewed in favor of the other nations. So I want y'all to use this as a beating drum, sound the alarm, sound the trumpet that our sister needs help. She's a survivor. She's a survivor. So don't let her story just get swept under the rug and be forgotten about here today, gone tomorrow, because she is still here and justice needs to be served. Once again, if you have not, I implore you to go over to change.org, sign the petition, type in justice for Jalyne Evans Jones, revoke bond and upgrade charges for Alejandro Morales. And then I need you to sign the petition on change.org. And after you sign the petition on change.org, you need to go over to the GoFundMe page. Go over to the GoFundMe page and drop any bit of coins that you can muster up. Whatever amount is greatly appreciated. She has a long road to recovery. And we need to show our sister that we stand behind her. She wasn't some violent person out here provoking someone. This was an unprovoked act of violence perpetrated against her. And we need to continue to stand with her. Continue to stand with her. Go to the GoFundMe, drop some dollars on her, show some love. Show some love. As usual, family, I am Koti Tamor, and stay tuned. Coming up at 8 p.m. Central Time, the premiere of Mr. Haki Shakur, revolutionary. He's gonna share with us some information that you know may help with Miss Jalyne's situation. We never know. We never know. So I just want you all to know that Okoti will stand behind Mr. Jones and continue to share his story. But like I said, coming up at 8 o'clock on the Okoti Speaks and on NFNC channel on YouTube, we have Mr. Haki Shakur. He's going to educate us on Black August. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you don't miss that. Our prayers and thoughts are with Mr. Jones. She's still here. She's still surviving, but there's a long road to recovery. I'm Okoti Tamor with news, facts, and comments, and I bid y'all shalom.